Okay, so I have finished watching Miss Marvel episode 6, and this video we are going to be talking about the ending of the episode 6 and also breaking down about what we didn't like and like about the season. Welcome to Moviefluid. This is your host Mr. P, aka the guy who is spamming the mutant on the internet after the reveal at the end of the episode. And sorry I missed the last episode breakdown because of the release of Thor and Thunder coming out last week, and I had fever after coming back to home from the theater. Don't worry, I am and I will be the last man standing, protected from COVID. I'm still negative, so without any further ado, taking an autobiography of a week in my life in a nutshell, let's begin the episode 6 breakdown. So we learned from the last episode that Kamala's final identity got secured when her mother found her necklace showing her the symbol. Back in Jersey, we see Bruno and Kamran meeting. Now, the damage control shows up and they didn't exactly control the damage, eh?
I thought my jokes were bad.
The episode is titled No Normal, which is the same name of the first graphic novel volume featuring Kamala. This is the series what it is about, and we open up in Jersey, which is where the comic exactly was set. We see the damage control inspecting the scene and we get Agent Deaver saying this happens when wrong people gets wrong powers and wrong responsibility.
See you, chump.
Then we get to the title sequence and we can hear Captain Space by Janubi Khargosh, and we see the Statue of Liberty, which we last saw in No Way Home, having infrastructural damage. And now, after seeing this, it's really difficult to tell where exactly when the show is set, and there have been a lot of conflicting things from the creative team about the timeline. But to my estimation, this takes place in 2024, which is 1 year after the endgame, with No Way Home being fall and winter of 2024. But for my spider senses tingling, there's no shield on the statues, and I think that it is probably the time of at the end of Far From Home, and her parents clearly care about Kamala sneaking out from the home helping people. I wish I can tell my parents that I had broken records in movie breakdowns, but instead they would kick me out of the house and they wish that they had a son like Comic Verse, being good at everything. And at this point, Nakia also has a face like with Kamala and tell her that Bruno is missing. We also get the title sequence of Miss Marvel, which is back in English after Hindi and Urdu textiles. And we get to be in Kamala's room and we see the collection of Captain Marvel's posters. Carol ends up appearing at the end of the episode in the post-credit scene of the show. Now we learn that Walid gave her the blue vest, Kareem gave her the red scarf, she got the bangle from her grandmother, the mask from Bruno, and I'm getting no subscribers. Hit the subscribe button now. Go, now please. She then runs through the city hopping on platforms similar to the mobile game Bruno played earlier in the series, and we see her stopping at the Grove Street sign.
Oh shit, here we go again.
Now Kamala and Kamran see that their powers should combine, and thanks to Bruno to interrupt them at almost kissing. Should have done what I would have done and snitched on Kamran cause I'm King Bully McGuire. Now Kamala does a giant hand similar to how she does in the comics, and then slowly start to line up her powers with the more of the source material. Now everyone had a complaint throughout the whole season that her powers were changed from the comics, but at the end she is pretty accurate and she also says the word embiggen. After the fights going on with DODC, bringing out the conic cannons, and this is one of the similar devices which is used in the Incredible Hulk. And after then, we see Kamran likely to be taking up of the side of the red daggers, and it is nice to see that Kamala finding her own identity and form of acceptance. Her father tells her that if she saves one life, she saves now the entire world, and it is now molded on Aunt May's grave in No Way Home. Now Abu tells her that Kamala means perfect, which is the literal meaning for it, but he also brings up that Kamal means Marvel. And he calls their own Miss Marvel, and hey, they said it, finally, we got the name Miss Marvel. And we get to Kamala sitting on a lamppost, which is basically based from the comic book cover from her solo series. Jumping to 1 week later, we see Bruno wearing the Gigawatt t-shirt from the comics. He's now driving Kamran's car, and one thing Bruno you need to know, you need to steal his girl and you got it mate. And now we get the mind blackagon boltagon moment from this episode. He scanned her whole genetic makeup and he discovered that she's a mutant. We also even to get the X-Men musical sting that appeared in the Multiverse of Madness.
like a mutation.
Now, after Marvel getting a failure from Inhumans, now they decided to step back from Inhumans and uplift the mutants. Now, this could allow them to introduce Professor X, and potentially Kamala could even end up going him for training. Now, we do have a San Diego Comic Con next week, which we are hoping to get some X-Men announcements. However, Kamala had to start in the Marvels, and we get a hint towards the end of the episode with the appearance of Captain Marvel herself, aka Brie Larson, and the post-credits scene. Kamala's bangle starts to glow and then swaps places with Carol. This confirms that somewhere that mega bands are now officially in the MCU, and this is a huge thing in the comics. Great way to end the episode anyway, with a lot of questions for the future. Okay, this is my review to Miss Marvel episode 6, which I gave a 6.5 out of 10. Now, thanks for bearing me for the 6 weeks, and I hope I didn't disappoint you. If you like this, then hit the like button, smash the subscribe button, and write down your rating to Miss Marvel Season 1. Cheers.